In this video, I'm going to show you how to create the colored gel effect in Adobe Photoshop, and we will learn how we can turn this image into something like this. Coming up. Hi everyone, I am Harshvardhan. Welcome to harshvardhanart.com. In this special video, I will show you how you can create the colored gel effect in Adobe Photoshop. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing, because here you will find lots of photography and photo editing related tutorials and videos on Instagram tips and tricks. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and please consider sharing this video if you like this video. So for this purpose, we will take this image and we'll try to give it a color gel effect, something like this. So let's get started. Let me just turn this group off. So we'll start from this background layer, and if you want to download this stock image, go ahead and download that. The link of that is in the description section below. So first, what we'll have to do, we'll come over here on the adjustment layer and we'll select the curves adjustment layer. And in the curves adjustment layer, we'll click in the middle and drag it down to something like this, and that would make our image darker, as you can see. And then we'll come down over here on this black and white circle and we'll click on the gradient. That's going to create a gradient, and we'll click on the gradient. And then over here, what we'll do, we'll select this black to white gradient, and then we'll double click on this color, and that's going to launch the color picker. And here we'll choose one color, which is this one. We'll press OK, and then we'll click on the second one, and for this purpose we'll go for something like let's say this one, because in this we'll try to give it a different look. And you can press new to save it as a preset so that you can later on use it. Thereafter press OK, and then you can see at this moment it's bottom to the top because of this angle, so we want it to the of this angle. So we'll click and drag it to this side, so that way on this side we'll be having the orange tone, and this time this side will be having the cyan tone. And thereafter we'll press OK. And now we'll change this layer blend mode to the screen, and that's going to give us this kind of a result. And then we need to come over here on the adjustment layer, select the adjustment layer, click on this curves adjustment, click over here, and then again we'll click in the middle and drag it down to make it darker. So we'll make it look something like this, and then we'll come over here again on this adjustment layers option and select the gradient, and in the gradient we'll click over here and choose this black to white or black to transparent gradient. If it is not available, click on this cog wheel and select the neutral density and select the append. That way those colors would be available over here. So this is the preset. Just select it and press OK. And now we need to change the gradient fill type. So at the moment it's linear, so we'll change it to the radial, and then we'll check the reverse, because at this moment darker side is inside. So we'll check the reverse, and that would give us something this kind of a result. So what we have to do before we press OK, we need to click and drag this circle on the face of the model, because we don't want it to affect the model. And then we can scale it up using this scale option to something like this, so that it spreads around it, and we'll press OK. And now we'll remove it from the model's face. So for that purpose we need to select this mask, choose the brush tool, and make sure you select the soft round brush with 0 hardness, and the color should be, foreground color should be black. So now we have got the black color, and then we'll choose the brush tool and increase its size by pressing left bracket or the right bracket, and make sure the opacity of the layer is, let's say, 100%. So if you press 0 on your keyboard, it will turn to the 100%. And now paint on the face or on the model, so that it doesn't affect her. Okay, so now we have got this kind of a result. And now we'll again go to the adjustment layer and create one more curves adjustment once again, and this time we are going to make an S curve. So we'll click here to create one point, click here to create second point. So we'll click and drag it up, and click and drag this one down. So we'll make an S curve, something like this. So let's see how it looks. Yes, it's looking good. Maybe something like this. All right. And now, as you can see over here, it's too bright. So we need to lower down the opacity of our gradient, which is over here. So we'll select this and go to the opacity, which is over here, and lower down according to our liking. So maybe something like this is fine. Okay. And we'll select this curves adjustment because this has made it little bit darker. So we'll select this mask and choose the softest brush with this time 10% opacity. So to turn the 100% opacity into 10%, press 1 on your keyboard, and that would turn it to 10% opacity. And then with the black color, paint on the model's face so that she doesn't become that dark, right? Similarly for the curves adjustment, this curves adjustment will again do that, something like this. And then we'll go to the adjustment layer once again, and this time we'll select the exposure adjustment layer, and we'll work on these 3 sliders: exposure, offset, and gamma correction. So first we'll take the exposure and drag it towards the right side. So we have to go not that much, we have to go little bit on the right side so that it adds a hint of brightness. And as far as the offset is concerned, let's click and drag it towards the left side, little bit, not that much. And we can adjust the gamma as well, so we can drag it to the right side to add little bit darkness. So this is what I have done. You can do anything you like according to your image. So we have got this kind of a result, and now we need to do a little bit dosing and burning, and to add some brightness and lightness to the curve. So for this purpose, we'll click on the adjustment layer once again, create a curves adjustment, and this time we'll click and drag it up to make it that much of bright. And then we'll click on this curves adjustment and press Ctrl I or Command I to invert it, and this time again with the soft as brush and the opacity 10%, and the color should be, foreground color should be white. And we'll make the size of the brush very small, something like this, and zoom in on the girl by pressing Ctrl and space bar, and with our mouse we can zoom in and zoom out very quickly. If you are using the Mac, press the Command and space, and then wherever you see the highlight, just paint over that. so we can make them little bit prominent this way. And if you think accidentally, if you paint little bit extra, just press X on your keyboard and then paint it back or remove it. So that's the easiest way of doing it. And little bit over here. And if you want more of that, just paint twice or thrice. And we'll work on the eyes as well, so we'll paint in the eyes so that this eye highlight also becomes more prominent over here as well. And on the hairs, we can paint on the hairs as well with very small brush, or just leave it as it is for a moment. Let's work on other areas, like over here, on this side. And now you can see the difference by turning this on and off. We have dosed it a little bit. Burning we don't need on this because it's already darker. We have already made it darker. And now we'll paint little bit of white color over here on these bouquets. So you can increase the opacity to 50% and paint little bit strokes of lights. Alright, so now we'll work on the hairs a little bit more. So we'll create one more curves adjustment, and again we'll click and drag it above, something like this, and we'll press Ctrl I, Command I to invert the mask, and then we'll zoom in and we'll make the size of the brush very small with again soft as brush, and this time we'll go for the 10% opacity, and we'll paint on the hairs wherever you see these highlights. And at this time it's looking ugly, but don't worry, we're going to fix that. Right now I'm using mouse, but if you're using the graphic pen tablet, that works very fine and that gives you much better result. I do have that, but I'm not using that at the moment, so I'm just using the mouse. So I want to show you that you can get this kind of a result even with the mouse. And on this side. Alright, so once you have got it, now we need to fix this hard edges of the strokes. So for that purpose we'll go to the filter, select blur and choose the Gaussian blur, and from this Gaussian blur option we can increase the radius to the point where we like that these strokes are not that prominent and they doesn't look that ugly. So if we go down, let's see, maybe something like this one is looking much better. 4.5 radius is just fine, and press OK. So now we have got this result. So we have added some lights or highlights in the hairs, and if you want more of this, just press Ctrl J, Command J to have a duplicate copy of it, but that's not going to look good. So I'll just undo it and leave it as it is. And if you want even more further, you can adjust this curves even further, so you can drag it even further if you want to make it little bit more brighter, and we can adjust it anytime. Maybe something like this is just fine. And now we'll do the final sharpening to this image. So we'll create a stamp copy of it by pressing Ctrl Alt Shift E or Command Option Shift E, and that creates a merge copy of it. Then we'll change its layer blend mode to linear light, and we'll get this weird result. And then go to the filter, choose other and choose high pass and choose the radius of 1.2. That's fine, and we'll press OK. And that makes the entire image sharper, as you can see, but we don't want the entire image sharper, so we'll come down on the bottom and create a mask by holding Alt or Option. That way we are going to get the black mask instead of white mask. And now with the brush tool, soft as brush, again with the white color, we are going to paint on the areas where we want the sharpness to be applied. So for this purpose, we'll press 0 on our keyboard to have the 100% opacity, zoom in and paint let's on the eyes, on this eye, and on the eyebrows, and on the lips, and on the hairs. So for this purpose, I'll go for 50% opacity, so I'll press 5 on my keyboard to have the 50% opacity. So now you can see the difference by turning this on and off, and by pressing Shift and selecting the top layer and selecting the bottom layer, and then we'll press Ctrl G. We can select all the layers and group them together and call it color gel effect. And press Ctrl G to fit the image to the canvas, and now you can see the difference by turning this on and off. This is before and this is after. So let me show you full screen. This is before and this is after. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, hit the like button. If you have any question or if you want to say something, leave that in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to press the bell icon and select all notification. That way you will not miss any new video from my channel. So thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next episode. Till then, keep shooting and unleash the creative in you. Bye bye.